big rule changes for the MLB, Major League Baseball. We can touch on them. We have a new pitch timer that will be introduced as of next year. There's new rules on the defensive shift, and also, bringing in bigger bases. So Wayne, if you want, you can dig into any or all of this, but feel free to kick it off.
Yeah, I mean, I like the bigger bases. I think I haven't heard anything like any negative talk or any like other side of it, but it's there to prevent like oversliding. It looks like, and they did try to test this in minor league baseball, and it appears like a lot more people were actually trying to steal bases, which that's cool. It's cool. It's fun. Like in the age of Moneyball, right? A lot of teams were discouraging their players from trying to steal bases more so. But now with larger bases, it's a little bit quicker for the players to get to, second base or third base. And then so that's good. I think that helps with the excitement of the game of, the faster, quicker players, not just, people trying to slug home runs and then, walk and then get to first base and not do anything. Right. So it definitely gets that activity, I think, going on that adds excitement to the game. And then, it does prevent oversliding too. So, you always see those slides and then, they slide off the base and then the second baseman or whoever is trying to tag the person can eventually tag the person again. And it's like, yeah, that's it. I get it, the rule and everything and all that. But at the same time, we're talking about, the sexless games and everything. It's not sexy. It's just not cool. It's not cool. So, I think that's better overall for baseball there. And the shifts and everything, sure, bring them on, whatever. I think they're all fine. They're okay. The pitch clock, it's nice, I guess, that the minor league baseball, there was some experimenting on these rules. The pitch clock, I think the average time was like about 2:30, which is like, okay, that's like, a fairly longer movie and like comparable to the other sports, right? So, if that's the case going forth for, your average MLB game, then I think that's what they can live by. And, I think that's where a lot of fans can get, feel good about getting home and everything during a weekday. So overall, I think, that, and then the banning of the shifts, 4 infielders must be on the dirt, and then two players have to be on each side of, second base. I guess that's fine. I think they were reading some data on that. It's like it shouldn't affect things too much necessarily. The one player, the kind of players that it will affect are those lefty pull players, obviously. So maybe my pick of like Carl Schwarber in my fantasy league, maybe not as much, but he'll still slug a bunch of homers anyways, I think. And then I think the only other ones are the pickoff. So, which I guess I'm fine with. You don't see too many. It'll be interesting, I guess, what happens with like limiting to 2 pickoffs, unless you hit them on the third one, if that does anything for the game. But I think usually that's not always a factor. And nobody also wants to see those like 5 pickoff moves, and then and then the player steals the base. Like I feel like a lot of people just find that annoying more so. Rather than enjoying, I guess, that cat and mouse game. I feel like it's like, okay, 1 or 2 times, the third time, whatever. But eventually we just want you to, pitch the ball so we can go home. So yeah, those are my initial thoughts there.
Yeah. I mean, going through what you said, with the bases, I'm in agreement. I don't know what, it's going to look like per se, or like how big of a difference it will make. It seems like it would be a good way to like safeguard from injury to just like having a little bit more space for the fielder to make the play on a bag and for a runner to have a good lane and, pathway to kind of put a hand in there or whatever else he's got to do to like, secure himself on the bag. I think, just having a little bit more area there to cover is probably good for both defense and offense. Will it lead to more stolen bases? I don't know. Some guy actually said like, you don't see a lot of guys who hit 10 home runs and steal 60 bags making $200+ million in today's game. So, it's more the inverse. I don't know, like, will it really, change the way offenses played with, just a few extra square inches on a bag? Like, I don't really think so, but in the same sense, I don't think this rule will really do any damage. The defensive shift will be interesting. I'm curious if they're going to put any sort of like boundary lines on the field, or if it's just more of like an ump taking a look and being like subjective in his call, or where the guys are actually aligned. Like, could a guy feasibly, let's call it a left-handed hitter, is the shortstop able to like stand at the very end point of the second base bag where it's like, hey, you still got 3 guys on the right side, like, will it be that close, or is there actually going to be like some delineation between, all right, that's where traditionally a shortstop would align, you're not standing over second base anymore, but like I'm kind of just trying to understand like how that's going to actually look. I did like the fact that they said that an outfielder can come into the infield to make a 4-man infield, but there can never be 4 outfielders, 4 guys on the outfield grass anywhere, which I think, like you were saying, with big bopper lefties, it's been, kind of an annoyance. It's taken away like a guy like, Yasmani Grandal is probably a perfect example of, somebody who's got a second baseman out in shallow right, and then, the shortstop playing on the second base bag. And it's just like, he's got no chance because he can't run. So, Gallo is probably a little bit that way. And I'm sure there's others we could name player by player. But, I think as that rule, evolves, if they can get more and more like delineation of where these guys actually should be standing, I'd like that a little bit more, because I'm kind of a traditionalist, but I also just think like the game's been getting kind of boring, and it's due in part because all these guys are pull hitters for the most part, and all these guys are hitting them to like the very worst spots because there's a fielder there. Pitch timer, it's an interesting idea. Hopefully it's not like sweating the pitcher or sweating the hitter too much to be like ready and able to go. I know like these guys are super superstitious, like pitchers with grabbing rosin and hair, and they're licking their their fingers and stuff. There's all sorts of crap from the pitcher. And then from the hitter's side, it's like adjusting the batting gloves, the arm bands, taking a couple practice swings. Like, it's all stuff that's like baked into the game from when we're playing t-ball and little league and stuff like that. You just can't shake if you just get into your own like personal habits. But I think what's in play there, like they want the batter ready to go with 8 seconds left. I think it's fair. That way you can't like delay, pitchers' rhythm, and pitchers are kind of on these short clocks, 15 seconds for empty bag, which I think is totally reasonable. And if there's a guy on base, 20 seconds. The 2 pickoffs too, it's also very interesting. I think that first pickoff move will be like crucial. And if you actually make the play on the second pickoff, like you better have him, because then the guy can just basically have second base on that third pickoff, or just on the pitch itself. He can just pretty much go whenever he wants. So all of this stuff to me, I think, is in the name of making this game faster and more enjoyable to watch. I'm very interested to see how this all plays out. I think the one thing that's missing here is mound visits. I think the mound visit is the single most destructive thing in terms of making the game quicker, more fun to watch. You got catchers going out there. You got pitching coaches going out there. You got managers going out there. You've got fielders within the infield going out to chat with the pitcher every other play. And it's like, at some point, like, there should be, some time that, okay, if you give them like 3 timeouts in a game, 5 timeouts in a game, whatever it is, call it that. But like, don't allow all this other stuff to happen inning by inning, because it really does suck up like probably an extra hour of game time just watching these guys constantly getting breathers and constantly getting coaching advice and player advice and other stuff. So that's my spiel. Any thoughts?
Yeah, instead of mound visits, they ought to do like Zoom meetings or something like that. I feel like, just like get it on there, like, hey, just pop out the phone or whatever in there, just let it buzz or ring, and then, I gotta pull it out. Oh, I'm getting pulled out. All right, I guess I'll go now. So, because like you're getting like a Tony La Russa, right? Like, overweight, old, and everything. They're coming out of the dugout. And how long is that going to take for them to go to the pitcher's mound and all that? Like, come on, like, people got places to be and all that. Just give Tony La Russa a phone, have him, do a 3-way call, call the pitcher, call the bullpen all at once. Hey, you're out, you're in. All right, get it done. And then do that switcheroo, as opposed to this whole formal, like, give me the ball. All right, I'm gonna take the ball. All right, I'm gonna wait for the guy to come out running or whatever from the bullpen, and then I'm gonna hand him the ball. It's like get all done on phone, and then just let the pitchers exchange the ball there. And then you won't have that whole, was it Gabe Kapler? I don't know if you saw that too. Gabe Kapler yelling at that, was it Latrell, I think, or whatever, the relief pitcher's name. Like kind of gave him a stink eye and like said some things. And then Gabe Kapler was like, all right, we're going to take it inside. And then I think he got released or optioned or something like that too now. So
and a spanking for sure.
Yeah. And embarrassment too. So that it would avoid that whole situation. Just be like, hey, you're gone. All right, or hey, thanks for the inning and relief or whatever, and for getting this person out or walking the batter here. Let's bring in somebody else to take care of this. So I'm not serious, by the way, but I think that could be maybe I'm a little serious, especially with Larissa. But yeah,
I mean, over the course of the game, this should just, like in football, I think football's established timeouts for the game. Like you don't see, the offensive coordinator walking onto the field and having like a one-on-one chit chat with, his quarterback. And then, the quarterback makes a bad pass. And then all of a sudden the wide receiver is pulling him aside and having a chat with him. It's like, we got to keep the game going. There's a play clock, there's time, time actually for the game itself. Baseball, obviously we don't have that, but it's like, it's just those little things, those little things really add up. They really slow the game down. It's just like, hey, it's okay if he gets, gives up 2 runs or, gives up an extra walk here. It's like, it should all just become part of the game. It shouldn't be, this tactic. I feel like from the coach's perspective, okay, let's go ice the other team on offense. Let's go out to chit chat with our pitcher, get our bullpen guy going a little bit more. It's just like, it's kind of all, old school baseball. It's proving not to be really great for the game from a fan perspective. So I'm glad they're trying to get there, but it's like they're still a little bit off. I think if they just honestly just lean into technology, give the pitchers headpieces or whatever, just be like, sure,
hey, have them talk, throw the gloves so that people can't do the whole mouth reading or lip reading or whatever, and then just have a conversation with your manager, your pitching coach, whatever, on strategy going forth. And then you don't have to worry about this whole sign stealing things or whatever too, problem solved. There you go. Use technology that 5th graders are using. Like, mind blown. So
you and me talked about that. We talked about just allow all tech to be legal. Just let it be legal.
They're not drugs.
Right. Everyone's on the same playing field. Everybody has access to all the stuff, wearables, spy cameras, like microphone, whatever it is, man. Just let it all fly, and we won't have any problems. But I'm with you. Tech could totally make this signal calling, or we could make mound visits like 2 seconds long. It'd be awesome. So like, hey, get your shit together, and like it's over, like he just yells at him in his earpiece and it's done.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a mound visit then. Yeah. It's just, hey, get your shit together. All right, done. Pitch.
I'm good. Thanks, coach. 10-4. Yeah, we're done. So
you're tipping your pitch. Okay, done. No 30-second mound visit from an overweight, 70-year-old pitching coach. Like, done. Yeah.
Right, man. Nobody wants to see